Hey, everybody, and welcome to Badge Banter, where we share some incredible stories about the security industry as a whole, and most importantly, the use of the ID badge and how it helps organizations better recognize and connect with one another. I'm Lindsay Martinez from BadgePass, and today I am joined by Dallan Labrum from ProdataKey. Dallan, I'm so excited to have you as a guest today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yep, couldn't be more excited. Dallan joins us from basically like an alley at a school site visit in Wisconsin today. So he has, very genuine in the field background for today's session.
That's right. We're going through Wisconsin, sharing the access control gospel with everybody.
I love it. So for those of you who don't know, for the people who listen to this who don't know, can you tell us a little bit about ProdataKey or PDK and what y'all are doing?
Yeah. So PDK was founded in 2011 by a couple brothers in a garage, if you can believe it. You've probably heard that story before, but a couple good guys. One of them was a coding genius, and the other one was just one of the best salespeople I ever met. And they were both looking for something that could solve every problem in access control. And they realized, one of them was an integrator at the time, and he's like, man, I have to keep 15 different products to be able to service all my different customers from one door to 1,000. And so they set off on an adventure together to come up with a product that would solve all those use cases. And then PDK was born, and now here we are in 2025. And man, we have a lot of dealer partners throughout the USA that use PDK for everything from one door to 5,000 doors. So it's really exciting. Our current CEO and president, 𝘮𝘬𝘬𝘦, he's an integrator. He has 30 plus years of integrator experience. So he understands our partners at a high level. And now we're just out here supporting them, offering a product that can make them recurring revenue and create a legacy for their business. And that's what I'm passionate about, is helping protect life and property and helping our partners create a legacy.
Well, I love that. I think that one of the things that I first connected with you on was I felt like PDK's culture paralleled BadgePass culture in so many ways. But the partner first approach is something I really love, but really in general, like you specifically and everyone I've met at PDK, like y'all's overall attitude and approach to the security industry and like your team and your company culture really resonated with me and is one of the things that I love. So there's so many parallels between our two businesses, I think, and that's one of the things
I
that
agree.
I've helped us be good partners. But tell me this. So we'll kind of dive in now. All that said, like y'all have a great team. So when you're hiring, whether that's for a sales role at the company or for other positions within the organization, like what qualities and characteristics are you looking for first in your team members?
Sure. Culture is extremely important at PDK, and you can feel that. Same thing at BadgePass. And so, we're trying to hire people that will fit into the culture first. But from a sales perspective on my team, I have 4 things that I focus on: attitude, behaviors, techniques, and performance. And attitude's the only non-negotiable. As a sales leader, I can teach somebody behaviors. I can teach somebody sales techniques. That's actually my expertise and background, are sales techniques. And then I've never met somebody who has an excellent attitude, doing the right things, has the right behaviors, time management, CRM management, prospecting. They have the right mix, excellent techniques, and then performance doesn't follow. Performance is a byproduct of the first 3. And so that's kind of my main focus. Is I try to spend at least 8 hours with a candidate before I hire them. And that's really difficult to do, and sometimes people don't want to put in that time, but that's one of the reasons why we have such an amazing team. And we have very, very little turnover. I was really sad to lose Benji. Benji's amazing, but if we don't have an opportunity for somebody and they find an opportunity somewhere else that's good for them and good for their family, you'll find PDK will be their biggest advocate.
I love that. So I came to visit Salt Lake City a couple weeks ago, and that was so fun for me because I got to see your headquarters. But
Yeah.
I remember we were driving and you were telling me, we were talking about those non-negotiables, and the biggest one, you were like, this is my one non-negotiable is attitude above all else. Like,
Yeah.
if you have the right attitude, the other stuff falls in line. And that resonated so much with me. I just absolutely loved that.
It's so hard to lift people up. You know what I mean? So if you have a whole bunch of people lifting everybody else up, it keeps everybody high. It's so easy to tear people down. One bad attitude in an organization can really hurt things. And that doesn't mean people aren't free to express their feelings. If people have bad days, we have infrastructure set up for people to be able to take breaks. We really emphasize good work-life balance. But when push comes to shove, when everyone's lifting up, it's so much easier to elevate everybody. And you've seen the impact that one bad attitude can have on an organization. It's unbelievable. So anybody listening to this, man, we haven't even gotten into the nuts and bolts of badge pass and PDK, but your attitude is one thing you have full control over, and it's the biggest impact you can probably make.
For sure. I love that. I think everybody could think about that, and think about that not just when they're hiring, but also when they're like managing and leading a team, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
So speaking of managing and leading a team, like y'all have been growing a lot. So I think when I look at PDK, y'all have been experiencing a ton of growth over the last few years, and you're leading the sales side of that. So what is the most challenging part of leading sales in an organization during rapid scaling?
It is finding, I mean, as important as attitude is, some people don't find it important. And so, we'll have people come in who have all the credentials in the world, all of the previous performance, right? And their attitude just isn't there. And, positivity is really important. A company like PDK that's experiencing so much hyper growth, it's so important that every hire is the right hire. And so even, and we know Benji, and Benji's probably going to watch this, even the time that he spent at PDK, it was not a waste. It was great. Benji's attitude is phenomenal. He elevated everybody he came in contact with. Dealers love him. We wish him the best of luck, but really, I think that's the key, is making sure everyone's attitude is right. And when somebody's having a bad day, that's what PTO is for. That's what sick time is for, is if if you're overloaded, make sure you're fresh, make sure you're taken care of. But that's the key, is hiring. Because everybody at PDK is like, man, it's so great to have a manager that doesn't have to micromanage. Well, I don't have to micromanage because I've hired people I trust. And, I would have to micromanage if I didn't trust my team. I would have to. That's a byproduct of not trusting your team, is micromanagement. It's not even necessarily something that somebody does. It's something that they do as a result of lack of trust. And so, that's why there's so much turnover when new management comes into places, is because, they don't trust these people, so they get rid of them. But yeah, hiring is number one, because if you hire the right people, I always tell people, even if we miss a goal in a month or so, if we have the right people in the right place doing the right things, what we did achieve is what we could have achieved. Do you know what I mean? So at PDK, we don't have this fear culture of, oh, you missed your goal in a month, even though that rarely happens. You missed your goal in a month, you're on the chopping block. No, I have the right person, I'm sure of that, in the right place, doing the right things. And the funny thing is, I've seen so many companies lose highly talented people because of stupid things like that. They don't take into consideration the economy. They don't take into consideration, acquisitions and things like that. So at PDK, we really take those things into consideration. And if we have the right person in the right place doing the right things, we're excited about it. We're happy about it. And so everybody at PDK feels comfortable in their position. They don't get stressed out, in those times where, we at my time at PDK, I came onto PDK in August of 2019. COVID hit within a year, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was stressed out. We kept experiencing hypergrowth. And then COVID came out, and the economy just kept getting better. And then tariffs hit, and everyone was scared. But the cool thing is nobody's scared for their job if they're doing the right things, because they're the right people in the right place. And I think that's an important cultural thing, is you don't fire your top performers. We've picked up some absolute gems at PDK because of other companies doing this. People who came to PDK and immediately just doubled their region or their territory. And it's because that we have this really kind of high view of how things should be and how they are, that we're able to retain people so well.
No, I love that. You do have great retention. We do too. And I think it's a testament to hiring the right people, even if they don't have the experience. I always look back on my career and I'm like, when I got hired here, I had nothing. Like, I wasn't bringing a whole bunch of experience to the table. And when you find the right people and you pour into them, like, they'll stay with you and build something cool together.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about you, and that's the thing, is if you have somebody whose instincts are correct, experience is important to an extent, but if you have 30 years of bad experience, that's not valuable, right? And so I'd rather have somebody who has no experience than 30 years of bad experience. But when you find people that have the right instincts, and your instincts are like the same as mine, take care of people, do the right thing, no matter what the consequences. One of my first experiences at PDK was remedying an issue that had come up, and it cost us a lot of money to remedy this issue. And that partner has gone on to just absolutely destroy it and raise the banner for PDK. So, I got a lot of flack from leadership at that point because, yeah, it was a huge cost, but doing the right thing sometimes has a huge cost, but it always pays dividends. It always does. So that's our thing with our partners, is they know they'll be taken care of.
I love that.
Same thing with
well,
the
let's
team
take
members.
a minute and let's talk about partnership, and let's specifically talk about the BadgePass PDK partnership.
Yes. All right.
So high level, what we're doing, so excited about this. Obviously, our Badge Hub product was designed specifically for badge issuance, and that's what we're trying to be the best at, and completely reinvent the way people think about issuing badges. And then y'all are really focused on being the best at access control. And what I love about y'all's approach to partnerships is you, kind of like us, understand like you can't be everything to everybody, but you can pick strategic partners from an integration perspective that can kind of complete the circle, if you will, of what customers really need. And so when we first talked about working together, what were you most excited about this integration between our solutions bringing to your product offering and to your partner community?
Well, just badging. I mean, badging is complex. Okay. There's a reason why we don't have a simple badging solution at PDK. It's because it's a complex feature. And that's why you're able to have an entire company built around badging. There's so many things that I've learned from you about badging that are things that I didn't even consider. And, as I work with schools, especially, schools are near and dear to my heart, children especially. I have 5 kids. So like, I love kids. I think they're amazing. I love watching them grow, and I want them to feel safe. And, schools, it's so important. Identification of who is there is extremely important. And that's really where I got my first taste of badging, is in the university K through 12 experience, and hearing teachers talk about how important badging is and how they feel when they see somebody who doesn't have a guest tag on, or a visitor, or a badge. It brings fear, especially in the day and age that we live in. And so, badging, first and foremost, it alleviates fear. And I love that part of badging, is just, and we just had a meeting in Ohio with one of our big partners there that's doing a large school district. And it was just amazing to hear. We brought up BadgePass, and they love it. And they're actually, we've connected you guys with them, but they love badging. It gives them a sense of safety. It gives them that ability to walk through the hall. Even if there's a new teacher, they're able to meet that teacher, know who they are, and know that they're supposed to be there. That's the first thing that I'm excited about. We have had, since I've been there, badging has been probably the #1 request that we've got from dealers. Guys, we need a badging solution. And one of the reasons we haven't come out with it is it's a little more complex than people think.
Oh, when you think about it at the surface level, you're like, what, you're just personalizing a badge. Like, how hard can that be? And then even when you and I were talking, like the nuances of what we're doing from a technology perspective, are we enrolling that in the print process? What's important from a badge design perspective? What security elements are we bringing to that? Like lamination, custom holographics, and all of a sudden you were like, yeah, this is why we don't do it. And I think that that's what's great about partnerships like this, is it lets everybody kind of own their lane. And for me, like, I wake up in the morning super excited about badging for a lot of the same reasons you're super excited about access control, and bringing that kind of best of partnership together creates a better experience for the customer.
Have you ran into, I just want to ask you this, and this is no diss to anybody, but have you ran into an access controls company that does badging as well as you do?
No.
That's right. And it's so funny when I see companies diversify, like from access control into cameras. Like, what ends up happening is both products end up suffering, right? And so that's why we wanted to integrate with BadgePass. Is we want to give people the absolute best access control experience, but we need them to have the best badging experience. And we couldn't offer them the best badging experience without literally taking our focus off of access control and focusing it on that. And even then, we don't have the experience that you guys do. So that's why I think integration is just so much more superior than a one-stop shop, product that does everything okay. We want people to be able to do everything amazingly, and that's why integrations are so important to us. And that's what makes me so excited about BadgePass, is now we can tell people we have a solution, an amazing badging solution and an amazing access solution that you can take advantage of.
I love that. I think that the industry is doing a better job of that, what you just articulated, for that very reason. Because if you rewind 10 years ago, everybody was trying to be everything to everybody and have the, single pane of glass or single provider that gave you everything you needed, and that really just didn't create the best experience and letting people be the best at what they do all day every day. I mean, all I talk about all day is badges. And
Yeah.
so like the knowledge you'd have to obtain like to get to that level. And I didn't say like no, nobody does it as well as us. Like that didn't come from like a place of arrogance. That came from like they do it but at a lesser level because they could never.
Yeah.
I mean, it you'd have to focus a ton of time and resources, and then you'd be letting stuff go on the access control side, and you don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why when we go into an existing instance where they already have maybe an access control that does badging, and we show them what BadgePass and PDK can do together, well, I, great. I'm glad that whoever sold that solution got it, but guess what? We're getting it now. And
yeah.
that's what I'm so excited about.
All right. So I obviously have to ask this question because your platform's always been very mobile first.
Mhm.
And I'm excited about this integration and how we're going to partner on the physical badge side of things. But how do you see physical cards and mobile credentials working together as we move forward together?
Yeah. So mobile credentials are the fastest growing credential in access control, right? We see more and more people, like when I first started here, maybe 2 to 5% wanted it. And this is only 6 years ago, and now almost 50% of implementations demand some sort of mobile access. And so we're seeing the need that I think they're always going to work together in some instance because badging, the importance of badging, especially in protected areas like schools. I'm going to bring up schools a lot because I'm really passionate about that. And
Mm-hmm.
that is somewhere where I believe it's not just a fun feature, it's a must have, right? So even teachers that have mobile credentials, we're still seeing them want a badging solution so that they can feel that safety. Because when it's on your phone, that's one thing that mobile credentials lack is you don't walk around with your phone showing all the time, and you can't just
Sure.
look at someone's phone and say, hey, you're supposed to be here, right? And so that's the cool thing that the badge will always tell people. It's a sign. It's like, hey, I'm supposed to be here. The procedures are being followed. Safety, it just brings that air of safety to it. So I don't see those things moving away, but I do see them working together really, really well because a lot of teachers, if they do have a badge, they don't always, it's not always fun to wear a lanyard. I see more and more people just wanting to kind of pin a badge on,
Mm-hmm.
without a heavy extractable, line on it. And so what that allows them to do is just keep their phone in their pocket or pull it out of their pocket, use it as a credential and wear their badge and maybe even wear a lighter badge, something that's not as cumbersome, not as heavy. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like, again, I didn't prepare any thoughts for this, but I just ran into an absolute wall right there.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. What you're saying is true. And I've always been a pretty vocal advocate of them working together,
Yeah.
mobile and physical badges. But the one thing, I mean, you touched a lot on like the safety and security side of badging, but there's this whole other like really positive side of it where not just does it give you a feeling of safety, but it creates a sense of like belonging and community
Yep.
and feel like you're a part of something. And that is hard to like really put into a tangible ROI when you look at why
Yeah.
you're buying a badging system. But
Yep.
when you've got things like employee engagement at an all-time low or student sense of belonging and safety in school feeling at an all-time low, and you can
Yeah.
implement something as easy as that where people can use each other's names on a regular basis and connect with one
Yep.
another, like that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm excited that we get to do that.
And we live in a time where social ability is actually on a downward trend. And so if you think
Mhm.
about that, it's incredible. It's incredible to see a tool like badging come in and be able to bridge the gap for people. We live in kind of a mobile world where people their connections are more virtual than they are physical. And for those people, it just really breaks down those barriers. So I love that you said that because it is true. And while you can't measure ROI on it, everybody knows it's there. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe I can't measure it, but I can feel it. And that's almost as important.
Definitely. Oh, I love that. Well, you really like, we could talk about this probably all day, but unfortunately we don't have time. So
That's
I
all right.
love, we parallel each other so well. It's always nice to hear your opinion. Before we wrap up on like this segment and go to my favorite badge bliss segment, I know that you're a very big reader. And so not
Yeah.
everybody knows this about you, but you challenge yourself to read at least one book a week. So what
Yeah.
is one book that you would recommend to everybody that's in any type of leadership position that's watching this?
Ooh, man, that makes so it's so hard to pin that down. You'd think because I've read so many that it would be easy to pin it down. Um, so let me check something here real quick. Can you still see me?
No.
Oh, you can't see me anymore.
No, you're
And I'm
probably checking
back.
something. You're back.
Well, yeah. I was gonna look at my books. Let's see just what comes to mind. Um, one. Ooh, I definitely don't want to say a political book. So, but there have been some really great political leadership books. There is one book that's coming to mind. It's a Simon Sinek book. It's Start with Why.
Mm,
While it is kind of a rah-rah book, I would say that if you are not a reader and you haven't read that, Starting with Why is an excellent book, and I'm sure that you've read that as well. It's a book that
I
will
have, yeah.
take you, it helps you kind of get organized and put purpose into what you do in both your career and in your personal life. Because, one thing that I always tell people is you have to know who you are. If you want to go anywhere, if you want to improve yourself at all, you have to know who you are. That's the starting point. If you don't know where you're at, you can't go anywhere, right? With purpose. So you have to know who you are, and then you need to know who you want to be, and you need to know who you think you should be. And and if you can bring those three things into alignment, I think The Power of Why is a very powerful book in helping you get a foundation for all those things. So that's my book recommendation. Start with Why by Simon Sinek.
I love it. That is good.
Yeah.
Purpose matters. And for
Yeah.
those non-readers, there's like a million YouTube videos on like finding your why and Simon Sinek, so they can cheat and watch like a TED Talk.
Yeah. And you wrote a book, didn't you?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it really is surprisingly good. And I say surprisingly because I've had a lot of people in this industry give me their books. And I will tell you that I enjoyed yours a lot because of how it's obvious that you wrote it. That's one thing.
Hmm.
You go into some people's books and you're like, who wrote this? It wasn't you, but it was definitely you. And it's so fun. There's pictures. You can read it in like an hour, right? You can read through the whole thing
Yep.
in an hour or two. And it just has your passion for what you do bleeds through. And that's something that's
Oh,
really
thank
important to
you.
me. If I'm reading a book and I can't feel the writer, it's really hard for me to stay interested.
Well, that's sweet
Badge
of you to say.
passion.
I appreciate that. Bad fashion. That's it.
Yep.
I love it. Awesome. Well, let's wrap this with my favorite segment. So we're going to do a little session called Badge Blitz. I'm going to set this timer for 1 minute, and I'm going to hit you with
Okay.
some rapid fire questions. You ready?
All right. Let's do it.
All right. I think I know the answer to this first one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. All
Okay.
right. Coffee or energy drink before a big sales pitch?
Energy drink. I'm Mormon, so we don't drink coffee.
There you go. One word your
Yeah.
team would use to describe your leadership style.
Love.
I know you're a golfer. So what is a dream golf course you'd love to play?
Whistling Straits. I'm so close to it right now, and I still have never been able to play Whistling Straits.
Oh, you could go there.
I know.
Which is a better feeling, sinking a putt for eagle or closing a big deal?
Closing a big deal. There's still nothing like it because, sinking a putt, there's so much luck involved, and there's luck in closing a deal too. But to close a big deal, and for us, that's closing a partnership, with a dealer. There's so much trust and effort and energy that goes into that. So when somebody says, "Hey, PDK, I want to partner with you," that for me is just there's so much joy. I get so much joy, and I'm here with Mike Brimmer, and we're traveling all around meeting a lot of our dealers and prospective dealers. It is so fun when we walk in, we have a deal, and we ask them, "Hey, can we be partners?" And they say yes. And that happens a lot. I just love that. That just shows that we showed value, we built trust really well. And it's exciting because they will never be supported the way that we'll support them.
I do love that too. I'm with you. I would have chosen that answer
Yeah.
too. And we ran out of time, but I'm going to ask you this question anyway, because now I'm curious
Okay.
about your answer. If you could pick anyone in the world to caddy for you for one day, who would it be?
My wife.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sweet.
My wife, Kayla, she's my favorite person. I miss her so much. I hate traveling only because she's not with me. But we have the we have the most fun together. She's hilarious. She's smart. She points things out that I never thought of before, and and I can hug her
That's
you know
true. You can't do that with every caddy.
anytime I want.
Well, that's awesome. I love it. I love your answers, Dallan. I always love when I have an opportunity to connect with you because it's really just so much fun. So thank you so much for joining me and sharing some of your thoughts with me today.
Of course, it's been a pleasure. And you guys, if you need a badging solution and excellent access control, this is who you should turn to right here. If you're watching this, you probably already know. But if you're not, PDK and Badge Pass together
Awesome partnership.
forever. Yep.
I love it. Well, thank you so much again for being here. And to everybody else, we hope you'll join us next time as we take you beyond the badge.